So it's been a long time since the last video, but we have been making progress, and I can happily say that at this point the empennage is completed up to the point where I want to have it done. We are once again back to deburring the ribs and the frames for the tail cone, and I got some help from the boys doing this. I haven't really been taking the time to do any videos because I have been spending my time studying for my IFR check ride, which is coming up at the end of the month, and so I haven't really been focused on this. I've also spent some time using the iPhone to record time lapses and videos instead of my Sony camera, and I haven't really been pleased with the results. The videos seem to get put into random order, and it's a lot harder to keep track of everything, so I think I'm going to go back to using the regular camera to record the videos from now on. And here you can see the disassembly of the tail cone after getting all of the parts final drilled. And this is kind of my least favorite part, not because it's difficult, but it's just kind of disappointing to see everything get taken apart again. And shortly after this, I primed everything and got it ready for final assembly. The riveting went fairly quickly considering how many there were, and I was able to get most of them done on my own, but I did enlist the help of the kids to do some of the rivets that I couldn't reach. And I took some advice from someone else who recommended using the more experienced person on the bucking bar and the less experienced person with the rivet gun, and that seemed to work a lot better than our experience in the past. I wouldn't say I'm really an experienced riveter, but I have a little more experience than my 15-year-old. These rivets that were inside the frame stiffeners were really difficult to get to, and so I ended up using the steel plate that is used for back riveting and slid it in there, and it seemed to work, but it certainly required a little more effort than I would have liked. And I have to say I was very excited to get in the plane for the first time.
Go.
Now it really seems like there should be a better way to do this, but I'm not sure what it would be because my arms are pretty long, but they're not long enough to reach all the way inside there. And here I'm working on adjusting the elevator and the range of motion for it. And it seemed to go a little bit easier than I was expecting. Hopefully I did everything correctly. I was using that board on the left in order to mark the angles and make sure that they had the full range of motion and weren't hitting the skins. I ultimately got the vertical and horizontal stabilizer temporarily attached, but it is way too big at that point to try to move it, and I'm going to need to make room in the garage to start working on the fuselage, which starts in the next couple of weeks. So I disassembled everything and transported everything down to a corner of my friend's hangar. One of the viewers on YouTube managed to see that I had put the rudder stops in asymmetrically, and I'm not sure how he managed to see it in the few seconds that it was visible. Even when I was checking it to see, it still wasn't that obvious to me, but when I looked very closely, it was definitely done incorrectly. Fortunately, it was very easy to fix with just taking out, I think, 6 rivets. And here it sits in its new home waiting for the rest of the pieces.